The coldest weather for 25 years. The Finns continue to defend their country against the Russian aggressor with the greatest valor and tenacity. Renewed attacks on their positions have been in progress from north to south, and reports reached Britain that they were in almost desperate straits against the overwhelming numbers of the Soviet army. But it now appears that the Reds were repulsed. They're said to have left...
Ladies and gentlemen, let me take you back to the winter of 1939. Imagine a frozen forest where snow falls silently, covering everything in a thick white blanket. The wind bites you at your skin and temperatures drop below minus 40 degrees Celsius. You can see your enemy, you can hear him, but your comrades keep disappearing one by one. In the middle of this silent white wilderness was a man whose name would become a nightmare for the Soviet army. His name was Simo Häyhä, and he would go on to become the deadliest sniper in history. According to military records, he had at least 505 confirmed kills, all in just over 3 months during the Winter War between Finland and the Soviet Union. So, my name is Rafi and Andhika, and today I'd like to share with you the story of this extraordinary man, from his humble beginnings to his unmatched skills as a sniper and the legacy of bravery he left behind. Because Simo's story isn't just about war, it's about discipline, resilience, and what a single human being can accomplish under extreme pressure. So, here is a story about a legend, a war hero from Finland, the figure who feared by German soldier, the White Death. Simo Häyhä was born in 1995 in a small Finnish village called Biography. Near the border with Russia, he wasn't a large man. In fact, he stood just about 5 feet 3 inches tall. But what he lacked in size, he made up for in his heart and focus. Based on biographies written about him, Simo spends most of his youth farming, hunting, and skiing. He wasn't raised to be a soldier, but those long hours in the freezing woods taught him a patience, silence, and accuracy, skills that would later make him a legendary. At the age of 17, he joined the Finnish Civil Guard, something like a national militia. He practiced shooting with a simple bolt-action rifle, the most elegant, and became incredibly skilled. Then, accordingly to those who trained with him, he could hit a target like 150 meters away 16 times in 1 minute without using a scope. That's the kind of focus we are talking about. Now, let's fast forward to November 1939. When the Soviet Union invaded Finland, the Winter War began and Finland was drastically outnumbered. The Soviets had more than 400,000 of soldiers, tanks and planes, and the Finns just over 300,000 men and hardly in any herd of equipment. But they had the landscape and they had Simo Häyhä. Simo was stationed near the Kola River, where the snow was thick, the cold was brutal, and the trees were thin. This is when he earned his infamous nickname, the White Death. Accordingly to Soviet soldiers who survived, they were terrified of going into the forest because they knew if Simo was out there somewhere, they probably wouldn't come back. Then, What made him so effective, according to Finnish military reports, Simo didn't use a scope. He used an iron sight. That's right, no fancy options. And then why? Because a scope could reflect a sunlight and reveal his positions. And also, scopes could fog up in the cold. He even put snow in his mouth, so his warm breath wouldn't give any hint of his location. He would lie in the snow for hours, motionless, hidden, focused, one shot, one kill. In just 100 days, he accumulated 505 confirmed kills with his rifle and more than 200 with a submarine gun in close range bells, making his total kill count over 700. Based on various estimates, that's more than 7 kills per day in freezing conditions under constant danger. But even the best warriors faced dangers. On March 6, 1940, just days before the war ended, Simo was shot in the face by a Soviet explosive bullet. According to a report by his fellow soldiers, the bullet shattered his jaw, blew off part of his cheek. He was found unconscious and wasn't expected to survive. Miraculously, he woke up on March 13, 1940, the exact day that the war ended. But his fighting days were over. Despite the severe of injuries, Simo recovered and lived a quiet life after the war. He didn't break out his achievements. He rarely gave interviews. In fact, when someone else asked him how he became such good soldier, he just simply said, "Practice." That's it. Just practice. Simo returned to farming and lived in Finland until his death in 2002 at the age of 96. According to those who knew him, he remained humble, peaceful, and private, never proud, just quietly aware of what he had done to defend his country.
Despite the savage methods of totalitarian war,
Alright, then so what can we learn from Simo Häyhä, the wife death? He wasn't born into greatness. He didn't have such high-tech gear or a big army behind him, but he had 3 important things: discipline, patience, and a fierce love for his country. His story reminds us that skills, silence, and strategy can be more powerful than the size of army and strength. That courage isn't always loud. It can lie still in the snow, holding its breath and waiting for the right moment. Based on everything we know, Simo Häyhä wasn't just a sniper. He was a symbol of resistance, a ghost in the woods, and a legend who proved that even one person alone, cold and outnumbered, can change the course of history. So, my name is Rafi, Hamdi, Andhika. That's all from me, and thank you.
And still later pictures from Finland of the White War among the snows. Russian guns that have been captured. And some of the Russians ran away so fast they even left their trousers behind. On the southern battlefield of the Karelian Isthmus, the Finns are entrenched in their Mannerheim line, and all the might of Russian tanks and artillery can't break through. But it's hardest of all to keep warm, while all the democratic world drinks a toast to gallant Finland.